Hello everybody. Thanks for taking a moment to view this important video update. It's been 12 weeks since we held on-site services here at the Point in Seymour, Indiana. By now, I'm sure all of us realize this global pandemic has changed our world forever. When we brought our first update about how we were responding to the outbreak of this virus this past March, I don't suppose any of us expected we'd still be talking about it 11 months later, but here we are. Unfortunately, I doubt any of us expect this discussion is going to come to an end anytime soon. Given the constantly evolving nature of this pandemic, we've been trying to figure out the best approach for a return to our on-site services here at the Point. There are so many things that have to be taken into consideration. Today, I'm pleased to announce that the Point will return to on-site worship services on Sunday, February 7th, 2021. Service times will remain at 9:30 and 11 a.m. in the worship center. We'll continue to observe social distancing guidelines and will require masks whenever you're coming or going or moving throughout the building. The same policy will be in place for kids, students, and adults. We'll require masks because we believe masks are an important component in the return to safe on-site services. If you prefer not to wear a mask, we simply ask that you continue to attend church online until the mask mandate can be lifted. These guidelines are necessary for us to move forward with on-site services right now. Student programming is also set to resume on-site beginning February the 7th. Kids programming will resume 1 month later on March 7th at 9:30 a.m. only. Our goal is to have sufficient volunteers so that parents can drop off their kids and attend worship. More about that in a moment. We'll not be opening the infant nursery in this first phase. Now to the key to our successful return to on-site services, we believe is the need for volunteers. Last March, prior to COVID, we had well over 100 volunteers serving just in kids ministry alone. When we returned to on-site services last June, we couldn't field a full team of volunteers. This pattern was also experienced with our hospitality team. Now, I understand the hesitation on the part of some to volunteer in certain areas, but you need to know that a strong team of volunteers, that's an essential part of our plans to return to on-site services. This responsibility is far too big to be carried out by our staff and a few volunteers. We need your help, and it's imperative that we work together to see that this need is met. I'm asking you to contact ministry leaders or the church office to let them know your plans to re-engage in serving. We need to know that we can count on you. I also want to let you know that we'll be reaching out to re-engage leaders and recruit volunteers in areas where you've served in the past. Please, say yes when you're invited to serve. I mean, if returning to on-site services is important to you, we need you to be willing to step up and help make it happen. Whether your involvement is with kids, students, hospitality, or some other area of ministry, we really need your help. This is a critical rebuilding phase in the life of the church. Our mission is so important. That's why we must come together to do our part to help all our teams and ministries succeed on the highest levels possible. Over the coming weeks, we'll continue to evaluate and adapt each system to make sure that we are effectively meeting the evolving needs. COVID has created some unusual hardships. That's true for individuals and families. It's true in the workplace and certainly true in the church. I'm convinced that together we can navigate these challenges and come out stronger and healthier than ever before. But that can only happen as we all come together to support our ministries and leaders. Please, don't be a spectator. Don't take a wait-and-see attitude. That won't cut it. We need all hands on deck right now. If you've wanted to see the return of on-site services, now's the time to step up and help make that a reality. And the truth is, as the church returns to full capacity, I expect that we'll need more ministry teams and volunteers than ever before. Because of our space limitations in the worship center, reservations for the service that you're planning to attend will be required. You can make a reservation on our website at gotothepoint.com. Now please, take this seriously. Plan ahead. Reserve space for you and your family, whoever will be attending with you, and then be sure to show up. See, we're taking a phase-in approach to our return to on-site services. Understand that the return to these on-site services does not mean that everything will be immediately back to normal. Over the next few weeks, our leaders will be working to rebuild teams, recruit, train, and organize volunteers. My encouragement to everyone is to consider how you could attend one service and find a place to serve in the other. I believe that would set us up for the greatest success, and it opens the door to the greatest potential for ministry impact in the days to come. We cannot operate with a consumer mentality. We talk about 3 key priorities on the path to spiritual maturity around here. We call them the weekly 3: worship, connect, and serve. We believe that a weekly commitment, perhaps an hour or so in each of these areas, will lead a person toward spiritual growth and maturity. Now is the perfect time to engage or re-engage in serving. Do you realize that there are many children who have not been able to attend Point Kids or Point Student Ministries since this past March? That's concerning and troubling to me. I'm committed to doing whatever I have to do to see to it that we can be open for kids. I also want to be open for those who are isolated and alone. If wearing masks will make it possible for us to be open in a safe and healthy manner, then I say, hand me a mask. I know the idea of a mandatory mask policy is undesirable to some, while it's a great comfort, though, to others. And for those among us who don't want to wear a mask, ask yourself if you're willing to wear it out of consideration for others. Let's consider this from a biblical perspective. In Philippians chapter 2, verses 4 and 5, the Apostle Paul says, don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. You must have the same attitude that Jesus had. Now, I'll be honest. My attitude these past few months has not always been the same as Jesus. I've had my share of selfish moments where I was more concerned about my own comfort and convenience, my own interests, instead of the interests of others. So it comes down to a question of how we can love one another well. There are people in our congregation who cannot be here if people are unwilling to wear a mask. This is not a political issue, not here. It really is about showing consideration for others. In John chapter 13, Jesus tells us that our love for one another will prove to the world that we're his disciples. The truth is that COVID has often revealed a level of selfishness in us that's the opposite of love for each other. Love is not always easy or convenient. Sometimes love requires doing things that are difficult. It may mean doing things we don't want to do. Jesus taught that love is self-sacrificing. It's really about valuing others above ourselves. So let's consider this an opportunity to love and serve others. Folks, we cannot make exceptions. If masks won't work for you, please plan to attend church online. If you're uncomfortable coming to on-site services for any reason at all, our online services are the right choice for you. It'll be necessary to wear a mask to enter and move around the building when services resume on February 7th. This isn't forever, but it is for now. When we reach capacity in the worship center, we will be directing people to overflow seating space in other parts of the building. There will be open seats in the worship center perhaps, but since we're observing social distancing guidelines, we will need you to honor the request to move to those other spaces if asked. We're also asking that everyone refrain from gathering in the lobby. The space is small and our congregation there creates an awkward experience for persons who are trying to social distance. In so many ways, the guidelines that we're putting in place are about putting others first. Even though you may not agree with everything that our leadership team has decided, I hope you'll see that these are simple ways to show that you care. Help us succeed in showing our community that we are for people. We are for at-risk people. We are for our healthcare professionals. And we're for our kids. So it really comes down to a question. Would I be willing to wear a mask and follow other protocols that may be personally undesirable in order to make it possible for kids, students, and adults of all ages to be together in church in a way that's safe and healthy at this unprecedented time in our history? My answer is yes. I'll do whatever it takes. How about you? Please join me in praying that the Lord will work in all our hearts to sensitize us to the needs around us. I really want His will to be done. And I want to conduct myself in my words, my actions, and in my attitudes in a way that's God-honoring and pleasing to Him. This is a time when the light of Christ and the church can shine brighter than ever before. Let's seize the opportunity as we open the doors to on-site services on Sunday, February 7th. And if church online's a better fit for you, praise the Lord that we have that excellent option available. And whether you attend online or on-site, I want you to know that your presence matters. We're going to do all we can to continue pointing people to Jesus and looking for safe, healthy, and creative ways to connect with each other, because that's who we are. And that's what we're all about. Thanks for watching, and please know I love you. I hope to see you soon.